Somebody asked, how is Israel's security my problem? You're going to find out why. As we laugh maniacally. We're going to talk about Section 224. Have you heard about this?
Yes, I heard about it.
What are your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts were they're just putting on paper what has already been a reality.
I think so too, and they're also formalizing it and making sure that they hit all the new tech that's coming. So,
do you remember that famous picture of when Biden went to Israel during the war and genocide on Gaza, and they took a picture, and they were all like U.S. special operators, and then they had to take it down. They were like, no, they're just Israeli soldiers that like to wear our patches. It's like, yeah, but those aren't even their uniforms. Those are our uniforms.
Right.
Actually, I think it was like Max from the Gray Zone, Max Blumenthal.
It was Seth Harp.
Yeah, and Seth Harp.
It was Seth Harp who doxed them.
No, Seth Harp doxed the guys. But that original picture, I remember they started to reproduce it and share it.
Okay.
It became a huge sore spot, I remember. And we know that that's been happening all along. They've been training police. We've known they've been training police. We know that they've been training military. They've been back and forth. Krav Maga became a very big thing in the military and things like that, back and forth. So this is just putting in on paper and in print what we've known all along, and we've been called conspiracy theorists for.
Or anti-Semitic.
That too.
What it is Section 224 of the House's fiscal year 2027 NDAA, titled United States-Israel Defense Technology Cooperation Initiative. This dropped on May 26th, with the chairman's mark was released by the House Armed Services, and the House Armed Services will mark up the bill on June 4th. So this week, 4 days from now. The person who wrote this was Ben Freeman at the Quincy Institute, and he published that on responsible statecraft. I went and read the actual thing, which is insane. Don't read it, but it's not foreign aid. This is complete military fusion. The provision would arguably do more to intertwine the U.S. military with the Israeli military than the more than $200 billion in military assistance that Israel has already received. Some of the let's go through some of this bill. I went through and highlighted some of the really worrying language. What does this bill do? The establishment. The Secretary of Defense shall designate an executive agent, such as term is defined in the directive, responsible for synchronizing cooperative efforts between the United States and Israel to expand and accelerate bilateral defense technology research, development, testing, evaluation, integration, and industrial cooperation and then it goes on with a list of tasks. But pay attention to that one right there, that executive agent. That's really important because that executive agent answers to no one.
They're not accountable to anyone.
No. And the seat is permanent. It's a permanent executive agent inside the Pentagon with statutory authority across the entire Department of Defense, whose job is fusing the United States military with the Israeli military. It's not a program. It's not a group. It's a permanent statutory function that does not expire ever. So here I made a list.
Is there any way to impeach the person or to remove them from office? Or
we're going to go a little bit over it, but here are some of the stuff that they'll be responsible for: counter unmanned systems, anti-tunneling, missile and air defense, artificial intelligence, quantum, directed energy, cyber defense, biotech, network integration and data fusion. That's another scary one. Defense industrial-based co-production. We're going to talk about that a little more. And a catch-all, obviously, other emerging technologies as jointly agreed by the parties. That's military language for anything the hell we want. You should know.
Oh, yeah.
We have all catch-all clauses in all military.
Grab it all.
So
leave everything open, not closed.
Exactly. And that number 8, that network integration and data fusion, the U.S. military data could soon become the Israeli military's data. That's not foreign aid. That's way big. So a couple of the Zionists and people that support this, they're kind of arguing that we already do this. But this is the level of integration the U.S. does not have with anyone, not even our closest allies, not even Japan, South Korea, or anybody in NATO. If this is integrated and enacted, it would be the biggest, highest level of cooperation the U.S. has with any other country anywhere in the world. And with what we've discussed about the condition and the antagonistic position of the United States and Israel to organizations like NATO, what do you think this says?
This says that the first priority is Israel and everybody else can go fry ice.
That, and I feel like this is another kind of dig at NATO. Like,
no, for sure it is.
We're closer than you and we call the shots. And guess what? Even your data is going to be our data. Right.
Well, did you see the command? You remember the video we just posted today of the command post? I think it was last night or today of the command post in Ukraine. And it was all Palantir. And they're like, we can't even process this much information. Like, and it's decentralized and everything. That's what this is all about, spreading those technologies, integrating them, and then basically create. I mean, I don't want to sound hyperbolic, but this is the beginning of a Skynet type infrastructure. And for those of you who know Skynet, you know what comes next.
And this is a higher level of integration than we have with South Korea. And that integration, their military integration, I mean, is oppressive in nature. And it's still not even that. It's even more integrated than that. And the guys, this doesn't have to be bidirectional. Israel is not giving us their data. It's only one way. They can, but they're not required to in the agreement. No, they're never required to give us their intel. So this is a huge structural shift from the military. But why is this happening now? The shift will strip away the political and diplomatic oversight mechanisms that make the relationship between the United States and Israel publicly accountable, moving it from a visible annual aid vote into the opaque machinery of defense acquisition. Remember, everybody's confused. Why doesn't Bibi and the Zionists want aid anymore? Because they want this.
They want that. That's the key. That's better than any aid.
And the bill knows that it's doing this. And this won't require an annual vote. This won't require a yearly debate on how much money we should give Israel. This won't require Americans every year to say, God, another $4 billion in aid. You won't even see it. It's gone. Yeah. And this is priceless. You can't even put a price on this. I know that people have overreacted and said, like, oh my God, this will put Israeli commanders in charge of our troops. That's kind of where their minds jumped. It won't. This is worse.
Yep.
This is worse. Right. This is way worse.
I mean, imagine giving them sensitive information about American citizens and then they can act on it.
Exactly.
You saw what they did to activists. I had Fra Hughes on my show, which, by the way, we were supposed to stream yesterday, but we weren't able to. We're going to stream it tomorrow. I had Fra Hughes on my show, who's a dear friend, comrade, brother of mine. He recounted, because he was on the Gaza Samud flotilla. He recounted the torture, the terror that was inflicted upon them, and they're European citizens. Imagine once they have the information, they can target people. They took them in international waters, hundreds of kilometers away from Israel. Imagine what they can do to people around the world.
Insane. You know? And check out this subtext. Subsection G. The Secretary of Defense shall make available on publicly accessible website of the DoD periodic unclassified updates to the maximum extent practicable on the synchronized cooperative efforts carried out under subsection A, including a description of how these efforts contribute to the United States, et cetera, et cetera. Well, what the hell does that all mean? The Pentagon is required to publish a description of how these efforts contribute to U.S. technological supremacy. That means they're just going to do PR.
That's all they're going to do.
That's what it means. They're going to tell you how this creates supremacy, all the stuff Israel's doing for us, and how this could never be bought with aid. They're giving us so much. We only gave them $4 billion for 70 years. Look at what they're giving us is priceless, and we should be thanking them.
I don't know what to thank them for.
And we have no right.
For being our new masters?
Yeah, we have no right to, they're just giving us this in good faith, this transparency, because we have no right to these records. It's not, we have no oversight. There's no public, it's behind the Pentagon walls. And he only answers to Pete Hegseth. That's it. He doesn't answer even to the president.
Isn't that crazy?
He answers to Pete Hegseth and Benjamin Netanyahu, as far as I know, and Trump, but in a lesser degree. But here's why it's happening right now. And you guys know, just like I said, I watched all those anti-Semitism conferences. They're going crazy with laws and what are we going to do? And this is one of the ways that they're going to try to take away a point of contention, which is the annual aid to Israel. In mid-May, a New York Times poll found that 64% of Americans said the Iran war was the wrong decision.
Wow.
And only 16% say the United States should keep supplying Israel with weapons without restrictions. 38% say they should stop supplying them entirely. And 24% said weapons need to be conditioned on how they're used. So 62% of Americans want weapons cut off or conditioned, and only 16% support the current policy of sort of this unlimited stream of weapons and aid. So Congress, instead of doing the right thing and debating it and listening to their constituents, it restructures the relationship so the public can't see it, so they can't complain about it anymore.
How convenient. How convenient to do something like that.
So I did go the extra mile because someone was arguing with me in a space about whether it was constitutional or not. I am terrible with the Constitution and constitutional law. So hopefully Chris will chime in a bit. But from what I can gather is that this is it constitutional? Technically, yes, but structurally, no. So technically, the Congress does have Article 1 power to raise armies, regulate the armed forces, and appropriate funds. NATO is constitutional. AUKUS is constitutional. So at the high level, viewing down, it looks constitutional. To me, what the problem is that this sort of was to evade things that the Constitution presumed would be in place to prevent it. But it's technically not breaking any laws or any constitutional amendments from what I can tell.
No, and in fact, we have the supremacy. We have a supremacy clause. And then that also applies to international law and international agreements that are reached. So they also, well, for international law, like if we're party to a treaty, it also becomes the law of the land. So part of me is wondering if they're going to try to find some way to finagle a bagel, as we say. Some way to, it's great, isn't it?
It's amazing.
So if they're going to try to basically say, look, this is a bilateral relationship, which is protected under, it's two sovereign states. We have an overarching structure of agreements that maybe Congress would have to, at some point, pass. But at this point, I'm sure that there's plenty of stare decisis, sort of, plenty of case that already exists between the relationship of the two countries. And we don't even know. Some of it's secret, by the way. We don't know. Just like FISA courts, we don't know everything that goes on. No. Some of it could be for national security, and then it becomes sort of law in and of itself for the government.
Look who's kind of being purged here. It's the Thomas Masseys, the Marjorie Taylor Greens, and Nancy Mace. We've talked about all these people, and if you guys read the Quincy Institute piece, they named this pattern. They say Massey and Green openly denied the Israeli lobby's corrosive influence, a stance that may have at least partially cost them both of their seats. So the full picture is 62% of the public opposes the current Israel policy. Members who say so are being primaried out. The remaining members are restructuring the relationship to make it permanent and invisible, and it's all happening in the same news cycle.
That's so crazy.
But Massey's not gone yet.
No, he's not gone. He still has he has about 6 months left.
And he made a promise to us.
Yeah.
If the provision in the NDAA is to integrate, my God.
Whoa.
Sorry, I live on a very nice island near the beach. So in the summer, it's a lot of people, a lot of vacation. It's beautiful. So I can't complain. But if the provision in the NDAA to integrate, synchronize the U.S. and Israeli militaries makes it out of committee, I'll offer an amendment to strip it from the bill on the floor. So he's talking about in the House. And he says, we are a sovereign country. Love
Yep.
that. Love that.
Yep.
And then Rokana, that was yesterday. Rokana retweeted him and promised us, and I will be offering an amendment in the committee itself to strip it.
Oh, wow.
So these are our last two lines of defense. It's the Rokana Massey coalition once again coming in to risk their necks and try to give us what we want. And, you know, I don't know what it's going to take for people to actually wake up.
They have to wake up.